Watson, we have a rather singular case before us today. A man confined to prison, speaking into a camera, and every word a potential architecture of deception.
Indeed, Charles Manson, for those who may not recall, orchestrated a series of murders in California some years ago, though he wielded no knife himself.
Precisely. He commanded others to kill. Now observe how he commands the narrative, how his face betrays what his mouth will not confess. We have 5 moments of particular interest.
His mouth, his head, his eyes, the usual vocabulary of a man who has much to hide and believes himself cleverer than his interrogator.
The physiology never lies, my dear fellow. Shall we examine what 5 decades of confinement and manipulation have etched upon that face?
Let us begin at the beginning, 020, and see what the body says when the words say nothing at all.
Words, as Mr. Emmons quotes them in this book, it's clear that you were guilty of murder, and yet he says in all his conversations with you, he never heard you express remorse. Have you never felt it?
Remorse for what? You people have done everything in the world to me. Doesn't that give me equal right? I can do anything I want to you people at any time I want to, because that's what you've done to me. If you spit in my face and
There, at 20 seconds. Watch the mouth go slack, the tongue thrust forward like a man tasting poison. He's mid-sentence, defending himself, and his body betrays him utterly.
The head tilt troubles me more. That's not distress, Holmes. That's a pose. I've seen prisoners feign contrition before. This is something colder. What was he saying at that moment?
Because that's what you've done to me. Self-pity dressed as justification, my dear fellow. Yet the tongue protrusion, that's involuntary, isn't it, Doctor? The body calling him liar while his mouth spins philosophy.
Precisely so. The physiology doesn't fit the narrative. A man genuinely wronged shows anger or sorrow, not this theatrical grimace paired with that reptilian gesture. He's performing outrage, but the face slips into something far less human.
Manson trades in grievance as currency, yet watch how swiftly he shifts. I haven't done anything I'm ashamed of. No tremor, no hesitation. The contradiction is absolute. He rages about injustice one breath, claims innocence the next, whilst his tongue flicks out as though tasting the lie itself before he speaks it. The man is a mirror held up to his own manipulations. And for one instant, at 20 seconds, the mirror cracks.
smack me in the mouth and throw me in solitary confinement for nothing? What do you think's going to happen when I get out of here? Guilt. I wouldn't do anything that I felt guilty about.
You don't feel guilty at all?
There's no need to feel guilty. I haven't done anything I'm ashamed of. Maybe I haven't done enough. I might be ashamed of that, for not doing enough, for not giving enough, for not being more perceptive, for not being aware enough, for not understanding, for being stupid. Maybe I should have killed 400 or 500 people, then I would have felt better. Then when I felt like I really offered society something. You know, if I wanted to kill somebody, I'd take this book and beat you to death with it, and I wouldn't feel a thing.
Now, at 13 seconds, watch what happens the instant he says, if I wanted to kill somebody. The mouth opens as though he's about to swallow something whole, and his eyes narrow to slits. He's rehearsing the violence, Doctor, not merely describing it.
The head tilts back sharply at the same moment. I've seen that before, not in fear, but in a man savoring a thought. His pupils contract as though he's looking inward at something vivid and pleasant.
Precisely the contrast that damns him. Seconds earlier, he whined about offering something to society, all wounded dignity. Now he's threading together book, beat you to death. Wouldn't feel a thing, as though reciting a grocery list. The words are violence, but his tone is domestic, comfortable.
The disconnect is extraordinary. He claims incompetence and detachment from blame, yet his body language at that precise moment, the opened mouth, the rigid neck, those are signs of arousal, Holmes. Not shame, not remorse. The physiology betrays a man who enjoys the narration of harm.
And notice what he does not do. There's no hesitation, no swallow of fear, no dimming of the eye, as conscience might impose. He speaks of beating a man to death with the same effective flatness he'd use ordering tea. Manson has rehearsed this particular performance so often that the machinery of conscience has simply rusted away.
It'd be just like walking to the drugstore. Do you feel blame? Are you mad? Do you feel like wolves kebabs right for I don't fit in society, and I am incompetent. I'm definitely incompetent.
No, that's not what I said.
Well, I say that. I say that. No, there's nothing wrong with being incompetent because you don't have to do as much. If you're competent, then you got a lot to do. See, but there's another aspect of it too. I've learned to reflect. I just reflect back. I know I don't know. I know I'm stupid. I admit I'm a petty whatever. I've never been a success at anything. I even got to the point where I didn't want to be a success at anything. What would being a success, what does that mean, you know? Money? Oh, I've had all the money in the world 3 times and I had to give it back. That's a stupid little game, you know?
And watch at 2:10. The moment he says, I've had all the money in the world 3 times and I had to give it back. His head wrenches sideways as though the words themselves are physically repugnant to him.
The mouth opens too, doesn't it? But not in the way a man speaks. It's held open, rigid. I've seen that in patients confronting something they find intolerable.
Intolerable, yes, but observe what he's actually claiming. Loss, victimhood, sacrifice. Yet his face recoils as though he swallowed something bitter. The words describe deprivation. The body language suggests revulsion at his own narrative.
He's performing the role of the wronged man, but his physiology knows better. The blinking intensifies at that exact moment too. Rapid, almost convulsive. That's not the eye of someone rehearsing a well-worn story, Holmes. That's discomfort with the lie itself.
Different from what we saw at 1:13, when he narrated violence with the composure of a man reading a railway timetable. Here, the machinery grinds. He cannot quite stomach the image of himself as depleted, powerless. It contradicts the grandiosity that actually animates him. Manson has spent decades rewriting himself as misunderstood philosopher, yet the moment he touches on genuine loss, his face betrays that the costume doesn't quite fit.
My awareness and my consciousness is not the same as somebody that goes to school and has a mom and dad. See, not having parents have left me in another dimension, so to say, you know. I don't have no bad going for nothing. I don't judge. I hardly even think about too much. It's hard for me to remember breakfast. In fact, if I didn't have 2 or 3 girls to help me, I would pretty much be lost and I wouldn't know what the hell I'm doing. That I've murdered somebody. You've got it stuck in your brain that I murdered somebody. What do you want to...
Look at the moment he says, that I've murdered somebody. There. His entire frame lurches sideways as though the accusation itself is an object he must physically dodge.
The head turn is violent, isn't it? But his eyes, they don't follow the head. They stay fixed forward, almost defiant, while his neck wrenches away from the words.
A dissociation, Doctor. The body recoils from the charge, yet the gaze refuses to break. It's the posture of a man who knows the words are true, but has trained himself to inhabit a different geography altogether.
And notice what comes immediately after. You've got it stuck in your brain that I murdered somebody. The eyebrows compress downward, the tilt deepens. He's not denying, he's scolding. The face has shifted from recoil to accusation.
Precisely. When confronted with his own culpability, Manson doesn't defend himself. He reverses the lens and makes the interviewer the diseased one, the one with the obsession. The head tilt becomes almost paternal, a gesture of pity for a mind too small to see his philosophy.
It's a remarkable inversion. Earlier at 2:10, when he touched on his own losses, the discomfort was genuine. The machinery ground audibly. But here, accused directly of murder, he performs indignation with the ease of a man who has rehearsed it 10,000 times.
Because the accusation pierces the grandiose fiction he lives in, and for an instant, that sideways wrench, the man beneath the philosophy is exposed. But he recovers almost at once, and the recovery is colder and more calculating.
Call me a murderer for? I've never killed anyone. I don't need to kill anyone. I think it. I have it here.
Who is?
Been with. I find more real in the world that I'm in than I do the tinsel, the one I have to deal with every day, you know. Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be no...
There, at 3:43, as he utters that curious boast, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you. Watch the eyes abandon their previous line of sight entirely, and the brows contract upward into that peculiar arch.
He's stating a hypothetical, yet his face behaves as though he's just been caught in a lie. The gaze shift alone suggests discomfort, but paired with those raised brows, that's not the physiognomy of a man merely making conversation, Holmes.
Observe the contradiction, Doctor. His words construct an elaborate falsehood. That he could commit such acts, but chooses philosophical restraint. Yet simultaneously, his face performs the micro-gesture of someone who has just touched a live wire.
The brows rise and the eyes flee. That's surprise at his own words, isn't it? As though the boast escaped before his better judgment could collar it.
Not surprise, something colder. He has spent decades rewriting his narrative as misunderstood sage, and here, in an unguarded flicker, Manson's face betrays that the mythology wears thin when tested by direct accusation. The gaze moves because his mind is elsewhere, calculating whether he has overstepped, whether this particular lie will hold.
Unlike the earlier moments at 2:45 where his indignation felt rehearsed and burnished by repetition, this has the texture of improvisation, a fiction assembled in real time with all the visible strain that implies.
He cannot quite inhabit the fiction of his own restraint, and his face knows it. That is the capital detail here.
None of you left.
Well, my dear Watson, we have watched a man speak of misunderstanding, of innocence, of philosophy, and his face has told us something rather different entirely.
The inconsistency was remarkable. Every time he denied responsibility, there was that small lift at the corner of the mouth. Not pain, not confusion, but something rather like amusement at his own performance.
Precisely. Manson's words painted himself a victim of circumstance, yet his body betrayed not a shred of genuine remorse. The jaw set rigid, the gaze wandering, not the drift of a confused mind, but the calculated glance of a man rehearsing a story he has told 1,000 times.
And those micro-expressions in the final moments, that rightward brow, the narrowing of the eye. I've seen that look before, Holmes, in men who felt they had bested their interrogators, not men broken by conscience.
The physiology does not lie, Doctor. A man who orchestrated murders and bent young minds to his will does not weep genuine tears when the camera finds him in a cell. He performs. He manipulates still, even now, from behind glass. Manson learned long ago that remorse is a costume that fits him not at all.
A chilling portrait of narcissism without remorse.
And now, our viewers, if this analysis has proven instructive, do press that button of approval and share it with your circle. This little channel survives by the engagement of keen minds such as yourselves. Leave a comment below. Whose interview shall we dissect next? A politician, a confessor, a man in the dock? The criminal mind, and those who mimic honesty without feeling it, awaits your nomination. And there you have it, Watson. Of all the moments we examined, these three betrayed the subject most plainly. Study the eyes, the mouth, the tilt of the head. The face confesses what the voice will not.